Hello and welcome to March to Madness 2021, the Seedening. I named it that without their permission. I hope they're into it. I'm
Depends.
Sean.
Too late now.
It
Too
sure is.
late now.
That's Scott and that's Justin. And we've got a special stream for you guys tonight. We, as you may know, if you haven't heard already, we last year put on a little bit of a thing, a little bit of an event, a little bit of a competition. In March to Madness, are pitting head to head in single combat investigators against one another and seeing who comes out on top. It was a great time, and we're kicking it off right this year. We're doing some seeding, which I'm told is like it makes it more legit, and I hope that Justin's here to tell me exactly why and seeding is important and what effect it will have on the overall results, because I will be fascinated.
Well, Sean, let me tell you. Now, one of the rightful pieces of feedback we got last year was that people wanted a little more input on where the investigators fell in the brackets, because we just did that on our own. You know, we weren't even sure if people really wanted to play this last year, and then it took off. People had a lot of fun with it. So
and to be fair, like this was I don't want to say a last minute idea, but you're like, I have this great idea. We're like, awesome, run with it. You're like, quick, list the investigators in some sort of order, and it was just like, I think I took 6 minutes, just slamming investigators into a tier chart, right? Like it was, yeah.
So now we are mimicking March Madness, where they have their selection Sunday. They have everybody vote on, or the coaches and the media types vote on how well they think the teams did, where they should be seated. And so our version of that is take all the investigators, throw them in a tier list, because they're all getting in. Not like in March Madness where some of them don't get in. And then we're going to have those who scored the best in the tier list be our top seeds, on down to those who scored the worst. And then we have our 4 investigators in each tier, so 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, and so on. And then they're divided up into 4 different regions.
Excellent.
So, wow. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I know you, to kind of preface here, I know as things were rolling in. First of all, talking about things rolling in, I don't think we've ever had participation in anything we've reached out for like we had for this. Like there were some early adopters when we first announced it, but then I think when Justin hit kind of the reminder button on socials and everything else, all of a sudden it was a flood. How many entries did we end up with, Justin?
I stopped counting after 100.
Yeah. It was a lot.
I stopped counting, and happy to do it this year where the seating was a little more last minute, but next year the data entry will be automatic.
Yeah.
Good plan.
So, that was really fun to watch. So thanks for everyone for throwing in. We're hoping we can continue all of that momentum into the actual event. This was just the pregame, which, cool. Really, I was going somewhere with this. Normally, I don't lose my train of thought when we're live, but it's hitting me hard right now.
It's the vaccination, man. It's messing with you.
It's the COVID. I caught it. Anyway, so thank you to everyone for throwing in, and I think probably we just kind of dive in, right?
Yeah. Let's start. Let's show them how it breaks down in terms of which investigators were the 1 seed on down through 11, and then we'll show the bracket after that. And for anybody watching this who's curious, we're not showing the numbers because we're going to do some fun stuff with the data from this afterward. So this is just the order that they're in, but watch for more even after the tournament to see how people voted on all of these. It's fun. If you like data, it's real good stuff. So
Scott, I mean, you alluded to it. Why don't you lead off?
Stella, number 1. I mean, I placed Stella quite high. I didn't think she was going to be number 1, but I'm also completely not surprised. I think the reason I may be slightly surprised is because she is good, but I think she takes a lot of practice and like maneuvering to get pretty decent with her and to really extract that high value. And so I didn't think that she would score as highly. But I mean, maybe also the people who are putting in these lists are also people who are super tuned into Arkham and are those players, right? Who know like where the different electrocution windows are and like how like what
When
steps
to
the
apply
chaos
your zappy
tokens.
boys.
Yeah, right. And like when does the token resolve versus when does this resolve? Like all those like the
So
rules
nerds.
minutia. Yeah, nerds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say it. I'm kind of one.
Chat's wondering if you can zoom in.
I did. Yep.
A
So
bit.
we're
Okay.
we're more legible now, hopefully.
C Maka from chat also has a question. If Stella loses one of her rounds, does she get to try it again?
Wouldn't that have been the best thing to have Stella on a bye the first round?
Yeah.
I am probably going to have to go back to the bracket app with specific feature requests for investigator abilities.
Yes. Oh man. That could be a fun and dangerous layer to throw on all of this. Every investigator has some stupid ability. All right, no, never mind.
Oh.
We must not. No, that thought must not be brought to fruition. That's far
You know
too
what
much.
Dabby says in chat too. He says, "I think you're right, Scott. Of course I am." But also newer players might also get a kick from Stella because she has that safety net, right? You fail in action, you get another one. So of course she's popular. You know, like it's
And also, you
she
get
appeals.
8 and 8.
Yeah, yeah. She appeals to a lot. So, Ursula. I mean, I thought she was gonna. People are gonna put her low, but yeah, she's good.
Who knew?
And then, yeah.
I mean, there definitely were some individual lists where either people don't play her, don't care for her, or they were actually punishing her. There were one or two that I know that's what they were doing.
Justin, you just reminded me what I was going to preface with. Sorry to derail, but we're only 1 in, so I think I can be, or 2 in. I'll be forgiven. As far as like how close it was in shifting, despite how many entries we had,
Sure.
It was apparently down to the last few to make places.
Yes, this was a case where every tier list actually counted. We had only one tie, and we'll get to that. I want to say it sounded like the third tier, but there are, I think, 6 or 7 different instances where a single bracket, if it rated one of the investigators high enough over the other, could have actually affected which seed they were in. Even after all the ones we got. So that's how close a lot of these were. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, sorry, carrying on.
So Mark, super killer.
I mean,
really good.
I mean,
Mac. Yeah, and he's been around so long. I think everyone has given him a shot and realized, wow, card draw in a card game. Seems good.
Big stats and card draw. What more could you ask for?
And Mandy, I mean, we've seen her before Taboo absolutely wreck Arkham.
The game
I don't
as a whole.
I don't use the term broken very often, but I will use that word for Rogue Mandy.
Yeah, she was able to do some really, really crazy things. Oh, hey, Ben's joining us. You know, and it actually really, really surprises me that even post Taboo, I have to assume, and maybe this is a bad assumption, but I have to assume that anyone who's deep enough into this to fill out a bracket for this sort of thing has to at least be aware of the taboo list, right? So the fact that Mandy still made it into the very top tier, post most of her big tricks getting a huge hammer, is damned impressive.
I think she, even with Taboo, still think she was not broken now. She's still very, very good. And the reason I switched for Iron Man was simply I didn't have the time to like redo my deck and figure it out with Taboo. Like I will gladly take Mandy in the future, even with Taboo. But
Davy says Mandy shouldn't get a 30 deck option. I you know, if there was an argument for any investigator for that to be the case, it was probably me.
Well, and you know, Sean, I think one of the things too might be that Taboo might not have affected how much people just enjoy playing her. Sure. It might be more a power level thing, especially in a tournament like this where we very specifically call out, vote however you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any ready to read on stream here, but I will be putting together a compilation of all the awesome reasons people used for how they voted. Some of them are just incredible.
Some of them
That
they were great. Some of the criteria.
Yeah, so I mean that might be part of it too. It might just be how much they enjoy playing her, and so
moving on to tier 2. Coming up with my boy crush, we got Silas Marsh. I mean, Silas, if you've played him, you know how amazing. And again, like in Survivor is scoring generally very well in the upper tiers from what I'm seeing. Survivors and Mystics are doing. But yeah, Silas is just so elemental. Unrun things
Daisy.
a thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey Sean, can you instead of hovering over him, can you just leave the cursor to the side so people can see the whole tier as we're talking?
Oh, sure.
Next one up is Daisy Walker, the first core set investigator we have on the list. And I mean, she's got a 5 in investigate. She takes Mystic in an off class, and she's Seeker. So, and I think just well loved in the community.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like she's core set, very lovable. She's very effective and has a decent amount of deck build or deck types at this. Yeah, can't go wrong. Not surprising me in the top.
And the Jank Father himself.
Yes.
Yeah. He does things.
Talking about breaking Arkham.
Yeah, I don't know what I was about to say. He's just
I don't know that I've ever seen a flurry of rules questions hit the Discord faster than when he was previewed originally. But yeah.
Faster, Never seen as much rule questions as if
there it
been
is.
Released.
It was as if he had already come out. Yeah. And then my girl, Diana Stanley, breaking tier 2. Yeah, as if. Of course, we're disappointed she's not in tier 1, but I understand that Mystic scares some people. I understand that the tension that comes from Diana at the beginning of the game when you're building her up can be a little tough to stomach for some. But she made it into the top 2. I'm okay with it. She's got a shot.
Yeah, she and Sean, I hate to tell you this, but she was actually running in the number 1 tier for quite a while. So the later vote just didn't show her quite as much love. She still did very, very well, but
those survivors showing up with their extra actions and win by failings. That's how it happened.
I just look at it as it gives the overall seeding more credibility.
Speaking of survivors, Seed 3 is the survivor tier, apparently. Because we have Wendy, Yorick, and Ashcan. Yeah. Well, Trish is in there too. But
yeah, she snuck in, and she you couldn't even tell she was there. She's a very good spy.
So this is the Trish and Yorick tied. And then Trish won the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So it doesn't ultimately matter because they're in the same tier. Yeah. But yeah, they had, even after all the brackets, the exact same number of points.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that Duke didn't make it up a little bit higher. I kind of expected him to be 1-2 again, given the fact that he almost took the entire thing last time. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought there's going to be some like revenge votes, like, no, Ashcan can do it this year.
Well, and part of it is in exchange for Scott not actively campaigning for his Ursula deck, I put Ashcan and not Duke in the name.
That did it. That explains it.
Yeah. At the end of this tier is actually where we get our first one tier list could have made a difference too. Ashcan and as you see in the first part, Tony for 4, one bracket could have flipped them.
Wow.
Sorry, everyone. Trying to read.
Davi's also pointing out in the top 12, we have 1 Guardian, 2 Mystics, 1 Rogue, 3 Seekers, and 5 survivors.
Mhm.
Survivor's the best.
Yeah,
Just
one of the
saying.
things we're
Survivor's
going to be
everyone's second favorite.
one of the things we're going to be diving into post tournament is stuff like that about how where they seeded, how well they did throughout the tournament, because like preview for the actual scores behind the scenes for this, you'll note there's not a lot of rogues for a while, but I think rogues actually had the second highest average score because then they all of a sudden start showing up a bunch.
Hmm.
Yep. So again, I'm not trying to steal all the thunder from that post tournament stuff, but yeah, there's enough fun data here. It's worth talking about.
Yeah. Well, and given that the overall criteria that people made the seeds on is probably going to differ a bit from the overall criteria that people actually vote on, it'll be way more interesting. All right. So moving to the next section. Well, hey, there's some rogues. We got Tony. We got Winnie. Oh, Patrice. Oh, she's in tier 4. But she didn't slide in with the rest of the survivors and just make that a clean tier.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I feel like she belongs up there, but Trish is good too.
And then Min.
Right? Yeah. This is all like these 4. Like, there's nothing bad I can say about any of them. I think they're all great, and it feels like to me like this is a very good yeah, these are all good. Like, they're not blowing me away. Although Tony can be quite amazing. I mean, actually, all 4 of these can be.
I was
But
about to say.
again, they're all really solid, and it feels like this is just exactly this is fine.
They're crazy within
no
normal limits, unlike pre-Taboo Mandy.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
Redlining the entire time.
They're not literally breaking the game like Luke Robinson.
How many cards can I see this turn? All of them? Okay.
Yeah. My favorite Luke Robinson breaking thing was he can go into the dream box and then the last train car of Essex can fall off, but then he's just in his dream box and he has nowhere to go. So where does he go?
He steps out in Dunwich, I would imagine.
It literally just breaks the game. So anyways.
But yeah, all very solid, top of the mid tier picks there.
You know, interesting. You mentioned Patrice to start, and
well, as I'm wont to do.
Part of the reason she's in this tier, I think, is people don't know what to do with her, and I say that maybe it's just they don't like her, but based on the tier lists, she made a lot of top tier. But I think more than any of these others who just scored well overall, she made a lot of top tier and a lot of bottom tier.
That would track. Track. She's got her own thing going. Probably doesn't click for everyone.
Yeah. And then we have another one here to set you up for going into tier 5. Min and the first investigator in tier 5 were also one bracket away from swapping.
Oh, so Finn. Min and Finn.
I'm sure Ian will be happy to hear that. Yes, we got. This is an interesting little bracket. We got Finn and Agnes. First of all, I'm surprised Agnes is this low, but Safina, I don't know. Maybe people forget about Safina. Really good, isn't she? Still really good.
I mean, here's the big hot take. Here's the big issue with any type of list of this type, right? Like, just because they're middle of the list doesn't mean they're not good. They're all really good. It's just eventually they have to fall somewhere, right? Like it's
and that's what's interesting.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind is we had to put these in tiers so that we could do the seeds. But if you actually average out what tier they would be in when you don't have to put them in an order, the bulk of the investigators are in 2 tiers. Like that.
That's actually that indicates some pretty decent health from a mechanical game perspective. That's solid. Zoe's the one that I'm honestly surprised is down so low because regardless of how you feel about her mechanically, Zoe's got a lot of stands.
Yeah, and I am one of them. Like honestly, she is absolutely fantastic. I'm sad to see her that low, and Chad is like, why is Zoe so low? But
okay.
No.
Zoe's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know if she's tier 1, but to me she feels higher than 5. But again, chips gotta fall, right? So,
and Guardians are aside from what Mark, they're rough on representation in the upper tiers.
Cool.
Anyway, then we got Jackie, Amanda, Nate, and Rex.
2 of 4 are our starter investigators. Yeah, this
And-
is.
Yeah.
I have no comment on this.
Yeah, like I'm trying to pull together a thought from that group, and I don't have one.
No, it's you know what, they're good. They do what
Mhm.
they're gonna do. Actually, you know what, I'm surprised Amanda is that low
Yeah.
because I think people were super hot on her when she got previewed and also when she came out and like deck building for her and everything. Uh, she can be though a bit of a puzzle to play through, and so and the turns that you don't get the right icons to put under her, it
They're a
could be
bummer.
a painful turn. So yeah,
Agree.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Moving on from there, the eventual winner of this tournament, Gloria Goldberg's in Tier 7.
I mean, probably.
Uh,
Yeah.
along with Joe, Dexter, and Akachi. So here's some heavy purple representation. I feel like these are all the mystics that are maybe a little bit. Nope, not even going to finish that thought. That wasn't coherent because I was going to say they're the ones that are like not immediately apparent on how you play them, but fucking Akachi's in there. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all.
Play spells, question mark, profit, right? Like that's, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see a couple of these. I'm weird. Yeah.
Well, and if it helps you understand how close 7 and 8 were, Akachi, and then the next 2 down in 8, it was all just could have broke anyway.
So number 8, Calvin Wright leaving the front of that. I honestly think Calvin, yeah. I feel like I saw him gonna be in the lower area.
Mhm.
Like he has a few people who really, really like him, myself included. He feels similar to a Preston, where it's just like I have to build my deck a completely different way, and that just turns some people off. And if you don't draw the right things all by themselves, like it's not like if Mark needs to kill something and doesn't draw a weapon, he's still got 5 fight. Whereas Calvin and Preston, well, sucks to be them. So
Get good.
Calvin ran into the opposite of Patrice, where he had a lot of really low ones and then got pulled up from a bunch of high ones.
That completely tracks with my understanding of the community's perception of Calvin. Roland, Old Faithful, down here at number 8.
He's not as flashy though, right?
No.
I think that's the everyone's played him. He's solid, reliable, but there's no flash to me.
And I feel
Brother
like
Zagon.
maybe.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
super quick. Brother Zagon says in the chat, did Gloria get a split of really high scores and low scores due to some people not having her? Also not knowing, like, having not experienced her.
Yeah, I will have to look to see exactly how many of the really high scores, but I mean, she ended up. I recall seeing her and I believe Norman, because they're the 2 that people don't necessarily have, right? They a lot of times were grouped up in a lower tier, so I think that is part of it.
Sorry, Sean, what were you going to say about Roland, I believe?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that maybe being Old Faithful actually just makes it so that people get bored.
Yeah.
We got Tommy and Preston, which you know, about what I would have expected for both of those guys. Both good, both playable, but not blowing anyone's socks off.
I think Preston's another one of those ones where, I mean, you can lose the game before you start based on your deck building, and that can turn a lot of people off. So I can see that.
Fair.
Yep.
Moving on, we've got Leo, Jenny, and the Holy Twins, Sister Mary and Father Mateo.
I'm surprised because we're currently in the bless cycle, and bless.
Look, man, I'm as guilty as anyone until like I heard Ian rave about him now with new bless stuff, and then I finally took it for myself. Mateo is still just too super meh for me, but I'm excited about him now. He's got cool new cards. So I get it. I get it. Even a mystic junkie like me only recently seen light.
Yeah.
But Jenny's got
Well,
like she's another one who's got a lot of stands, right? Like, or do I just hang around
Yeah.
Ian too much?
I think I don't even know if Ian is that big of a fan anymore. Like, I mean, not anymore. I'm sure he still likes her, but like, there's just so many other rogues that do really interesting things. She was the thing that she had going for her was in the beginning of the game. She was super reliable because she had like
Well-rounded
resources
stats.
and well-rounded stats that you could play on standard and do typically well, and had a lot of cards to fill in, and you had the money to pay for those cards. And now we have all these weird investigators who do, crazy things like Winnie, where you're just drawing cards and like 2/3 of your deck is skill cards. So who cares about money? Like just
Sure.
weirder things.
Well, yeah,
So I
and
think like
her ability got upstaged a little bit too. Because if you're gonna go big money build, why would you not play Preston?
right. So, but I mean, Preston's
If you want to play
2
Jenny
above
is
her.
the
So,
answer, but
yeah, yeah.
and then Sister Mary again, kind of bless, maybe a little bit new. I've been middling on her because I don't know, it's the problem with the release cycle, right? Like you don't get the whole set of cards, you just get right away.
Yeah, and I need to go back and look at the different cycles again. I should have just had it already instead of say we'll do it after the tournament. But I'm curious to see how the Innsmouth investigators did compared to earlier cycles where there's more familiarity, there's full card pools, more time to actually talk about it instead of hey, this stuff recently made someone even better.
Winging it in chat too says the more experience you get with the games, the more 3-3-3-3 feels meh. And totally right.
Mhm.
Back in the day, it felt like, oh, reliable. I don't have a 1 I need to think about. And now everyone's like, hey, where do I put my dump stat? Right? Like, which investigator am I just like?
When it's 3-3-3, you feel like you gotta like reach for every damn test. There's nothing that's handed to you.
Yeah.
You gotta shuck and jive to just pass even a normal test.
Yeah.
Okay, then we've got flush with semi mystics. We've got Jim, Norman, Carolyn, and Marie.
I mean, 3 of the 4 of them are kind of mystics.
I mean, Norman's a mystic in a yellow coat.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Marie got this low because of her weakness.
Her weakness, and I also think because Doomplay just scares a lot of people.
As it should.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't do it lightly. Scared
Yeah.
bitch.
I want Doomplay to be one of your bands.
I think Jim kind of just he's one of those ones where he just I forget what I called him, but it's something like the math investigator, where he just adjusts the statistics of the bag and that's it. But it's really powerful, but it's super boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing he has nowadays is that Dunwich splash in a pure mystic, which can be cool, but yeah, on the more boring side for sure.
Yeah, Norman takes like a PhD to figure out how to play. Carolyn, I feel like she needs a specific build in 4-player, and she's super fun. I'm enjoying her in our 2-player TNA, which will come back next week, by the way. But yeah, she just kind of feels like I'm struggling to getting anything going. I mean,
Well,
also
we did get
not
dumped
drawing.
on.
Yeah, having literally all 10 of my enemy management cards not show up the entire game. That was also terrible.
And she's got by far the most brain-hurting deck building in the game, aside from probably Lola.
I don't know how you would build a deck with her not on a website.
Right? Like, actually sit there and count it and be like, okay, this is a purple card, but it also heals horror, so it doesn't count toward that limit.
Yeah. And if you're hoping to pile it into like assets, events, and skills, but also the piles to make sure it's a legal deck, like, dear God.
And then the final
right.
tier, not the worst tier.
Final.
It's just the final one.
Yes.
Harvey, Rita, Skids, and
so, I mean, the whole Lola Skids thing, part of it's just a meme, right? Like people love to crap on those two.
Are we doing this right now?
No, we're not.
Okay.
But I'm surprised Harvey's here. This is what I'm going to. Like, I guess maybe people are looking at like because he can find clues like no one else. Plus, he's got the card draw. Like, it just feels like, I mean, he's a seeker. What is he doing down here? Is what I'm asking.
I
Is he just boring?
I think it's
Is
just
that
boring. As
that's
I think of all the, at least from my experience, from the starter investigators, they all had something cool going on and kind of a different way to play, regardless of how
fair?
you feel about their pre-constructed decks. But Harvey was
Mm,
literally just draw a card, and that's fun and it's good. You can win games with him, but
mm.
plus his
It's just math
weakness,
again.
like
Yeah,
his weakness is crippling for what you want to do with him.
yeah. Yeah, Davy does
Also,
say Davy does say, Harvey Mandy basically has the same ability except more fun
yeah,
because searching's more interactive than drawing.
and Norman's
Yeah.
got the same essential stat spread, but with cooler things and unique things to upgrade into.
Mhm.
Well,
I
and
know
Harvey was especially interesting to have him this far down because of where the rest of the starter pack investigators are.
Yeah, all the rest of them are kind of in the
Um,
upper half, aren't they?
yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, it helps like for their average with Stella being number one. In general, they all did very well, and then he just, um,
The
based on
boat
whatever
anchor.
criteria, just fell flat. And yeah, again, reiterating, it's not that he's anybody in here is the worst. It's just ranked lower.
That needs to be very clear. We are not passing judgment or any aspersions, casting no aspersions on anyone, but how it shook out. And like, I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation to have as to why. But Rita, no, actually, it doesn't surprise me. She's down here. She's perfectly good. Like I've had good luck with her, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
think she's competing a little bit with Yorick and a little bit with Wendy, who are both really good.
I feel like because she's got 2 intellect, doesn't she? Or
Yeah,
3?
too.
2? And she doesn't have really a lot of I was gonna say tricks, but
I
literally
mean,
that's her special deck building, right? Like, I don't feel like she has that clue support to go solo, and there's so many people that play solo. I feel like yeah, I don't know. I think that's a big thing for me, is just clue getting with her requires a lot of effort.
yeah, yeah,
But
and I think maybe she's very similar to Teo in that way. At least for me, I can only speak from my own
mhm,
experience. Whereas, like, yeah, I see it. Like, it's fine. It's good, but like her deck building doesn't offer anything special, so there's no like cool builds that only she can put together, as far as I know.
mhm,
I could be wrong. You can't take Daddy Chuck, so
yeah.
what are you gonna do? Kids,
Well, yeah, kids, I
he
mean,
remains kind of an odd duck, doesn't he?
so, yeah, like, I mean, so when I built my tier list, I did it based on who I have the most fun playing in standalones, and so Skids was number 1, or up there. I think I did put him number 1 because of anti-aircraft gun Skids. And I
That's
did
right.
have fun with him,
Oh
on our TNA around the world, Daisy and Skids, but I I think I had fun because I was playing with you. I
yeah, it is fun.
I I don't thoroughly enjoy Skids. Like, it just feels like kinda like you were saying with Jenny, I feel like everything I was doing, I was reaching. I had
Hmm.
to reach for everything, and I just yeah, so
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah. Anyway, well, everyone knows.
Every, everybody likes different things, man.
Yep.
mhm.
All right. Well, those are the seeds. So, Justin, what do you think? We hop over to the brackets and show that off.
Let's hop over the brackets and then show how this broke down. Who's going to be facing off, and then get everybody primed for when the prediction brackets open up. I think this upcoming weekend.
Ooh,
Oh yeah. All right. So
very
we're
true.
here. So, boy, I mean, where do we start?
Let's do top left, like the whole
Sure.
top left bracket. I find it interesting that we have 2 Seekers and 2 Mystics going against each other.
Yep. And like, both of them are kind of similar to each other. Like Gloria and Marie are the ones who are mystics, and hey, I also have high intellect,
Mm-hmm.
and
Sorry, I'm going to
seekers.
interrupt here, guys, because we got a question in chat, and someone did answer it there, but in case someone doesn't see that come by, a question about you could walk through what people are supposed to vote on or make their predictions on.
Yeah, we intentionally left that vague. Any reason? Some people have been doing like this how they perceive the strength of the investigator, like overall. Some do it just how they perceive it as solo. Some people do it based on who their favorite is. Some people who do it like I this year did it based on who I thought was most fun to play in standalone. Like there's
Well,
I know
and
some
Scott,
people who
sorry,
like,
I'm gonna interrupt. I think they're asking for now once we get around to making the brackets and voting. And it's
I
the
don't know.
same. It's the same answer.
Same reason. Yeah.
Same answer.
Yep.
We go ahead, Sean.
It's a pure popularity contest. Like I think what keeps it fun and interesting and surprising is that we don't have a very specific criteria, because you get people who are as into such a niche topic as this together and drill down to a specific criteria. You're actually probably not going to get too wide a variation, but like some people just stand Lola when most of the community or a large part of the community definitely would not, and that makes it interesting. So so it's a pure popularity contest. You vote however you want, and the trick to your bracket is going to be predicting what the overall community capriciousness will spit out.
Who would win a drinking contest? Yeah.
So the finals will be Rex versus Pete. I mean, maybe Rex. A lot of people are tired of Rex, I feel. Yeah.
Oh, MJ's in the chat.
Oh, hey, MJ.
It's the Mothy Bustars. Yes.
Oh, it's
Mathos
Mythos Busters.
The Mythos Busters.
Lemongrad, I'll still do my criteria of relationship status with Peter Sylvester.
That was one of the really fun ones to see come in.
Oh boy, that is top tier. Is that what that is?
That man sees a lot of people.
Yeah. I can see. Let's see. I'm just looking at where, because like Stella, #1 seed, she's gonna get the winner of Preston and Leo. I think she's gonna knock that out of the park, and then she'll have to take on the winner of Min and Finn. I'm interested to see Min Finn, because I feel like those two fill the same niche of really fun deck building. I don't know.
What would their celebrity name be?
Either
Min
Min or Finn.
Finty fan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fan. Min Edwards. Oh, that. Yeah.
That sounds less funny.
It does.
It still took you beating. That's all I wanted with the name so close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun to see where everybody landed after having the seeding. I feel like last year in this doing the seeding, part of it was so we could try and keep these matchups interesting. And I think we are probably going to see a few different bloodbaths, a few different real close ones, but it's now the community has helped set that up.
That's what's really, I mean, to me, I think that's what makes this interesting, is in the first kind of thought experiment, you're really going through and figuring out who you would want to win versus who you expect to win, and then each round I think is best when you go to vote and you're like, oh, what do I vote versus my bracket? I don't know. I don't do sports very often, so this is all new to me. I'm saying very obvious things for anyone who does March Madness, I'm sure, but
well, and here's a new thing this year, Sean, that if you don't do March Madness, you'll need to know. Last year we broke down the prediction brackets and who won by every time you had a correct guess, you got a point.
Okay.
That was the same across all of them. That was just how the app was configured. This year, we now have the option to do traditional March Madness points, where the first round correct guesses are worth 1 point. Second round, they're worth 2. Sweet 16 is 4.
The longer you see someone through, the better it is. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, and picking the champion, I think, is 32 points. And so what happens is you want to pick the champion. Mm-hmm. You still have a shot if you don't, but you did pretty well with the final 4. And then your first rounds and everything in between there is where you really differentiate yourself from others who make correct guesses.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like how that gets weighted that way.
Yeah.
Boy, that means I am going to be out of the running so much sooner, though.
And we are going to have to do the leaderboard at the end like we did last year to admit where we ended up.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Well, I will share my shame with you.
So bottom left corner. I think so. My eye instantly goes to Silas, as I mean, whose eyes don't go to Silas as soon as you see him,
I
right?
mean,
And he's gonna take on the winner of Akashi and Jim. I feel like that's pretty much a first round bye for him.
yep.
But then he has to face. I mean, I think whoever wins between Jacqueline and Lola.
That
versus
tier is
Ashton-
just literally who wore it better.
I think Ashcan is gonna beat either of those, and then it's gonna be Silas versus Ashcan, and I have no idea what I'm gonna pick there because you have the dog, but you also have Silas.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. I am torn.
Yeah.
So
You're already sweating about it.
yeah.
I can't wait for you two to pick your brackets on stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Gonna
gonna
be
be
so
stressful. It's gonna be really stressful.
Yeah. We had a fun comment in chat from the real shoelace. My friend asked me who I liked in March Madness, and my answer was Luke.
He's, not out of contention for sure.
Yeah. I also like the bracket we have down here, Tony and Zoe. 2 killers starting off together as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Here I go killing again.
Whoopsie doodle.
All right. Let's go lower right.
Lower right. Roland Banks versus Sister Mary.
That's
Wow. The oldest Guardian versus the newest Guardian. And then they go against Mark Harrigan. What kind of bracket is this? This is disgusting. I love it already.
Mark's just waiting with his dinner plate and his napkin tucked into his shirt.
Yeah.
He's just gonna eat somebody. What that joke was.
Mm-hmm.
Winifred and Safina. That one gives me.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
You know who I feel bad for is Ian making that pick.
That's Sophie's choice right there.
Yeah.
He's just not going to do a bracket out of protest this year.
Yeah, and then when it gets down to that Sweet 16 and Yorick and Daisy are in the tops there, that's gonna be tough.
Ooh. Yeah. Because I let's see. Dexter versus Norman versus Daisy. Yeah, okay, so Daisy will probably take that one. Amanda and Skids versus Yorick. I could see Amanda giving Yorick a run for his money.
Yeah.
I'm sure it won't be. No, but we'll save those assertions for next time, I guess.
Because I think there's the one thing I noticed too, especially this year, because I did the tier list for last year. Again, it was not well thought out. I just threw stuff at it. Don't get mad at me. Whatever. Anyways,
basically, Justin was like, "Someone help me." Scott was the first one to say, "Yes, here it is," and none of us were like, "No, that's wrong."
So it feels very different doing a tier list versus isolated picking of 2.
Sure.
Because when you're comparing things in a giant group and trying to form them into a mass of a tier list, if you will, I'm using lots of hand signage here.
I'm into it.
Yeah, to get them, that's a very different feeling than having exactly 2 options and comparing the 2 and looking at them just within that vacuum. And so, yes, Yorick placed higher than Amanda in the tier lists, but I feel like Amanda could easily both Yorick and Amanda have this really weird, cool thing going on with how they play the game. And so I could see her giving them a run for the money.
Could be.
Well, then you're going to run into the people where they were on the exact same tier for those people, even though they ended up ranked differently. And then what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then last quarter.
Sean, Patrice, and Agnes together in the first round, or I guess a second round, but
I can't. I literally can't. Boy.
There's Ursula. She's going to face Tommy or Jenny. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
I see Ursula's getting her free move action.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Let's see. Joe Diamond and Carolyn. Ooh, you know what? Both very interesting deck building rules. And then they fight off Luke. Oh god. I mean, Luke is just Luke.
Luke's gonna wipe the floor with either of them. Like that.
Yeah. Or
That's just gonna happen.
both combined. Who
Or
knows?
both. Yes, it's quite possible.
I'm gonna be curious to see how Trish does with Nacho. That's one of those that, despite the seeding, and I might say that because I'm a big Nacho fan. Like I wasn't at first, and then it might just be a sentimental thing because that was one of the first campaigns I took my brother through the game recently.
just
when he was getting into it.
No, he's just good.
Once he clicks with you, man, does he ever click. Like you find a deck that works well and you get those boxing gloves out early. Weak in the knees.
So good.
Yeah.
The distinct lack of dog gators. Yeah, we should throw Barkham in here one year.
No, we just need just a Barkham tier list.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Barkham March Madness. I don't know how we do that.
Top.
I don't know why we need to even mention them because they clearly won, and these are all the rest.
That's true.
Right,
14 out of
sorry,
10.
yeah.
Would doggo again.
Yeah, they took the top 5. This is just fighting for scraps.
All right. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I am abrim with excitement.
I'm so pumped.
And I think
when do tier lists start, Justin? Or sorry, when do bracket filling out?
Yeah, so I believe these go live on the 10th. So that's what, Saturday?
3 days from now.
Saturday. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, and if I finish up the behind the scenes stuff, I might even push them a day early. I'll definitely be posting it in multiple places. And this year we are going to March to Madness overall is going to take longer just to give everybody more time with it. And, it's just this fun thing to do in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're actually leaving prediction brackets, the window to make them open for like 2 weeks or maybe even a little more. Mm-hmm. So people will have time. Yeah, please, anybody who's interested in this, help us spread the word. Let's get even more predictions in, because then
you
get more bragging
really cool
rights
when
if you
people share our things. That's really cool. We like that a lot.
Share.
Don't think you're stepping on toes. You are literally helping us.
Yeah. Then after the brackets close, I think we do like 2 rounds each week for 3 weeks. Because we don't want those open like as long. And
right.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it last year. We're glad everybody else did it. Kept it from being a one and done. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to have a lot more involvement this year based on the early involvement. But
yeah, and I don't think we've done it yet, and I don't even know if we've actually talked about it, but we definitely should have a March to Madness channel in the Discord.
I will fix that.
Thank you. I knew you'd have me. Yeah, so come out to our Discord, and we're gonna have a whole channel to talk about this as the brackets go up and as the results start to come in. And then, of course, if you haven't, if you're here, you probably have, but go ahead and subscribe. Or no, wait, hang on. On Twitch, it's follow. Subscribe if you want. We like those too. To keep abreast of all of our. I'm gonna go with the prize. To keep apprised of all of the updates, because we're going to be streaming at certain portions through this. And then as well, we will do a final wrap-up reveal like we did last year. And, it's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a hoot.
If you want to join our Discord, it's discord.gg, as in good game, /MythosBusters.
Fancy now.
Yeah.
Have our own URL.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to talk more about why beyond reason people are lukewarm on Tom.
You should hop on our Discord and start throwing.
Have that conversation.
Throwing tomatoes.
Just pop in. I have a question. How dare you?
Who do you think you are? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, guys, anything, Justin, anything I missed or anything else you want to mention?
No, I think you covered it. Just you know me, I like to be thorough. A reminder that the tier lists and all these seedings, it's not that anybody's better or best, anything like that. It's just fun. So everybody keep that in mind. This is meant to be a lighthearted thing that we all just enjoy. Yeah, please help us spread the word on this too, because I mean, it's nice to get in front of people here on the Twitch channel and in Discord, and then I'll blast out announcements elsewhere. But yeah, let's get more people involved. Let's help other people who aren't usually involved in this part of the Arkham community. Let's get them in here.
Excellent. And yeah, Devi, if you push Lola through to the final 4, I will buy you a beer. Whether that eventually be in person or whether I just find a way to purchase you alcohol from a distance.
Well, and that raises a good point, Sean. Not the alcohol, though we can talk about that. But there's no rule against campaigning. I mean, if you have an investigator that is your favorite and you want to see move on, I mean, spread the word. Get people on board when it comes to voting. Go for it.
Unrelatedly, do you guys have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Diana Stanley?
Nope, sure don't.